What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be reviewing the Moza Air gimbal. It's an amazing small lightweight gimbal that can handle the heavier setups. I personally use the 5D Mark III with the 16 to 35 millimeter lens, f4 IS. I love to keep it on my bag just so, when I'm traveling and stuff, I can get those super smooth shots. It costs $5.99 US or $8.99 Canadian. It comes in a hard Pelican-like case, which is amazing to have because most gimbals come in little bags or plastic foam cases. Once you open up the case, everything is simply placed. It even comes with two handles, so you can get the two-handle grip if that's the type of vibe you want. It's kind of similar to the Ronin M when you have that fully set up. It feels amazing in the hand. It's aluminum covered in like this plastic rubbery like silicone, so when you're outside shooting on like a really cold day, that it doesn't get to your hands and doesn't make your hands freeze. So one of the things I shouldn't have done is I cheaped out and I bought like the very base model, which didn't come with the thumb grip, the tripod stand, feet, or the quick release plate, which I personally should have invested for that because now I want to buy all of those things separately. I did purchase the tripod feet to go on the bottom, which is key when you're trying to set up the gimbal because who really wants to have to like hold the gimbal while you're trying to balance it out, or maybe you need to put the gimbal down for a couple minutes to maybe swap out a lens or something. I think it's key to have and should come standard with the gimbals. I personally think it's better than the Ronin M just by the simple fact that with the Ronin M you need to bring an external stand with you, and then you need to have that to balance the camera and set it up, and then you just have like an extra stand that's not attached to the camera that you could potentially lose. With the tripod feet method where it just attaches to the bottom, you could always leave it on there until you're breaking down the gimbal because it's not that big of a deal. I like to just keep it on there, and then whenever I need to put it down, I just put it down, and until I break down the gimbal, it just stays on there at all times. Balancing it is very simple. I think it's possibly one of the easiest gimbals that I've ever set up when you have the tripod feet. If you don't have the tripod feet, it's a real pain in the butt because you're like holding it or trying to balance it on something like maybe the Pelican case, and then you're trying to put the camera on, and then you're trying to balance that, and it gets real out of hand. But with the tripod feet there, it makes everything super simple. I would definitely recommend getting a quick release plate so the balancing is a lot faster. You can get it to a place where your camera is pretty much good to go, maybe like some fine adjustments. And personally, I think the shots are super smooth. It's like absurdly smooth for the size and the amount of weight it's carrying. There's a joystick on the back of the gimbal that lets you change the angle of the camera. You can also press it in. It gives you different modes to choose from that you can also customize. The Moza Assistant app, which is definitely key. They also have a bunch of software updates which just keep making the gimbal a lot better. You can also plug a cord into the camera and into the gimbal that'll also let you record and stop footage, and you don't physically have to touch the camera, which is always a plus. You can set up the gimbal to do time lapses and like motion time lapses where like it'll pan over to another area, but personally I don't like third-party accessories taking over the camera for me. That's just me. I personally have never used this feature, so I wouldn't know how good it actually works. I missed out on the thumb grip because I never bought it, and then now I'm seeing how key it could actually be. There's a feature that's kind of unique to the Moza Air where, so if you have the handle in your hand and you move the handle to like the left side, then the Moza Air will actually pan over to the left side. If you move it over to the right, it'll move over to the right. If you go up, it'll go up. It's very weird, and I think it's more of like a beta thing or party trick because I don't know how good it actually works. I've seen some videos on it. It works, but sometimes it's a little off. So I don't think it would fit into like a professional setting. Maybe with a software update, it'll be a lot better, but it's definitely cool to have. There's a ton of new features coming out with app updates. You can actually update the gimbal. They've actually boosted up the weight restriction on the gimbal. In the box, it comes with everything, all the cords that you're gonna need. Battery life is like 12 hours, which is amazing. Probably never going to use that much. This is possibly the best, easiest, smallest gimbal that I've used. All these other gimbals, or you know, the Ronin's a lot bigger, and it's more of a pain to bring with you, especially if you're traveling. You know, that extra weight will just get to you. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It does help the channel out. But that's all for this video. Peace!